Hello guys, and welcome back to another sit down video. So earlier on this week I was on TikTok and going through loads and loads of videos as you do. Slight segue here. TikTok is a very dark hole, as in before you know it you can easily spend an hour on TikTok. What I'm about to say has absolutely nothing with the title of this video yet, but if you are in a waiting room waiting for the bus, if you're waiting for something and you need to kill time, TikTok, let me tell you, TikTok will help kill time for you. Anyway, I was on TikTok and I saw this person. I'm not going to say their name because they're quite well known. Well, no, they're quite well known. Anyway, so they put up this video on TikTok and they were basically giving a rundown of how their day went. And unfortunately for this person, they had quite a bad day in that I shouldn't laugh, but they woke up late. Their what did she say? Their bus broke down, or it was on diversion. I think it was on diversion, and then it broke down, as in the wheelchair ramp couldn't go back up on the bus, so they had to everybody get off and wait for the other bus, which is super annoying if you've ever had that done to you before. When she got to work, she said that she was having problems with her computer logging on. She didn't have a very good day at work. On her way back, started to rain. She didn't have her umbrella, and then in the rush that morning, she forgot to take her keys, so she was locked outside. And then she had to wait, I think she said like 3 4 no, I think it was like 3 hours for her partner to come back. He had gone out with friends and she was too tired to make her way to see her partner. Long story short, she had a very unfortunate day. Now, the thing that kind of triggered me a little bit, and I don't like using that word often, but I can't think of another word to use for this story, but we'll go with triggered. The one thing about her story that triggered me is after she said everything that had happened to her, she said, "Oh, guys, she was telling this story when she finally got in and she was in her bed and she goes, "Oh, guys, I'm so depressed. Like, I just feel really depressed today. And, hopefully tomorrow will be a better day." And she just kept emphasizing and going on at the fact that she was depressed. Now, you can see where this is going. She kept using that word depressed, and every time she would say it, I was just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It was just like, baby girl, sugarfoot, sweetie pie, you're not depressed. And who am I to say who is and who isn't depressed? At the end of the day, I don't know what this particular person goes through behind closed doors. I don't know. But if you are describing a day whereby you've had a series of unfortunate events, God, I always feel like I'm not recording, but I am. Anyway, if you've had a day of really unfortunate events happen to you, you're not depressed. You're just having a bad day, and you're sad today because of those series of unfortunate events. Make sense? Please don't get two things that kind of are similar, but they are just not the same. Being sad and being depressed are two completely different things. Two completely different things. Now, I am no healthcare professional. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I just speak from my own experience. And yes, I've said this before. I have suffered from depression, and quite bad depression. So I kind of feel like, yeah, I can actually speak on this. And the thing about it is, when you're sad, Sadness is, um, and without sounding rude or anything, when you are feeling sorry for yourself, and yes, you have had a series of unfortunate events, and you're feeling a bit tearful and you're feeling a bit fed up, but you're still able to kind of function physically, mentally, to some extent, emotionally. You can still function. You still feel a bit pooped. You feel a bit sad, but you don't feel low, low, low. And I'm actually going to find a clearer definition for what sadness is, and I'm going to pop it somewhere on the screen. I don't know where. And now we move on to depression. For me, depression is okay. This is how I would describe depression. It's like you're in a room and the room is completely black. There is one door, but you do not know where this door is. There's no windows, there's no light coming in. It's a completely black room, all right? And it's so silent. It's a kind of darkness whereby, I don't know if anyone has experienced this, but you know when you go to somewhere that's so dark that when you put your hand out in front, you cannot see your hand. You're like, where is, like, it's so dark. That's what this room is like. All right. And you know that life is happening outside of this room. You can hear the cars going down the street. You can hear voices outside, not even voices, just like, general chitter chatter from people outside. And you know that there's life going on. But you're in this room, in the middle of the room, sitting down, and it's just dark. It's just quiet. You cannot see anything, but you just know somewhere in this dark room there is a door. And the only way that this door is going to open is if you feel around this dark room trying to find the door. That's what depression is like to me. And the moving around the room is the work that you need to do for yourself in order to find where this door is, to open it, and to start getting yourself out again, if that makes sense. And here I'm going to pop a description of what depression is. Hold to read. So my thing is, right, I understand that in life, when we're going through things, and even myself, I am not perfect, I do this, we interchange words, and we need to be careful when we do that, because when you constantly use a word all the time, all the time, all the time, it loses its weight, it loses its effect. For example, the word, racism. Okay, now this is a whole different video, okay, right? But there are certain situations and scenarios whereby somebody will be like, oh, that's racist. It's not racist. It's ignorant, I'll give you that. But I wouldn't go as far as saying it's racist. Now, I'll give my own personal experience here. A couple of years ago, or was it last year, I was out with a whole group of friends, all right? And it was a new friendship meetup group. There must have been about, 15 of us. And it was a fairly large group because we'd all met during the pandemic, and it was the first time that here in the UK everything had kind of opened up after the first lockdown, so everybody was out. Anyway, so we're getting to know each other, and one of the girls turned to me. She said, oh, I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you Eritrean? And I said to her, oh no, and I told her where I'm from. And then she said, oh, okay, because your hair's really curly, and one of my best friends, she actually looks a little bit like you. So we were just talking about that. Anyway, conversation is over, we're all going home, and one of the girls who lives near me, she said, oh, Jemima, how did you feel about that comment? And I was like, what comment? And she goes, the comment that so-and-so made. And I was like, what comment was that? And she said, oh, I thought it was a bit racist, when she asked you where you came from and your hair was curly. And I was like, eh? I was so confused. And I said to her, no, it was absolutely fine. Like, I didn't affect me in any way. I didn't find it racist or inappropriate or anything like that. And I explained that to her, and she was like, okay, cool, whatever. Well, she didn't say whatever, but we just squashed it and moved on. And that's what I mean. We need to be careful with using words to describe how we're feeling when that's not the right word to use. And like I said, yes, everyday life, and I'm guilty of this. I use words, interchange words where I'm like, oh God, no, I really shouldn't be using that kind of, or I shouldn't be using that word, you know? But then you have to check yourself. And it's all right to make a mistake, we will do that. But just be mindful and just be cautious of it. And also with the word anxiety, like, and again, oh God, I sound like a hypocrite, but I do this as well. Um, I am an anxious person. And yes, I would say I do suffer from anxiety. And I've been in social settings whereby people have said things like, oh my gosh, my anxiety is rising because I remember one time going out with work friends, and one of the guys was saying, oh yeah, I'm really, really anxious because I know how much we're going to drink tonight. And I know, like he's saying it in jest, and it's just, it's for, what's the term, like a comedic effect. But that's the thing. When you start to use these words for comedic effect, and when you're using it out of context, and when you're not using, you know, the right word for whatever situation that you're in, it loses its weight. And therefore people don't take you seriously because they hear it all the time, all the time, all the time. And anyone who has had the experience of being around somebody who's had a panic attack, oh my gosh, it's one of the most scariest things I have ever experienced. Thankfully, by the grace of God, I have never had a panic attack myself, but I work part time as an exam invigilator, and I remember seeing this poor girl have a full on panic attack in front of me. And even though I suffer from anxiety, she just broke down, and I'm standing there like, now what the hell am I supposed to do with you? It's, if only people knew, that using words when you're sad, oh, I'm really, really depressed, or, oh, I feel anxious if you're about to get a new haircut. I don't know if that's the correct analogy or thing to use. But I just want you to be mindful of using the correct words, and not, especially not mixing being sad and being depressed, because the two are very, very different. And also, we're talking about depression. Um, I'm pretty sure that when you're sad, you don't feel suicidal. When you're sad, yeah, you might distance yourself from people for a few hours, even a couple of days. But when you are depressed, you do not want to be alive anymore. You cannot function. You just want the pain, and it's not necessarily a physical pain, it's an emotional and mental pain. You just want that all to stop. All right, you do not see light anywhere. It's like somebody has literally opened up your head and plonked this jet black thick ass cloud inside your mind, closed your head again, and it's just there, it's just stuck. You cannot see the sun from the trees, the car from the lorry. Like, you see nothing. It's just you in your head and these constant voices. And you don't want to be alive anymore. And I've said this on one of my podcast episodes. I can't even remember what the name of it was. It was quite a while ago that I recorded it. Even though you have people around you, like you might have friends, you might have extended friendship groups, cousins, family, it doesn't matter. You start to make excuses for yourself as to why you shouldn't be here, and how you not being here will benefit those people in your life. That's depression. Depression is just, oh my gosh, like, depression is not something that I would wish on my worst enemy. I really, really wouldn't. So just try your very best not to mix sadness and depression. If you're sad, say you're sad. If you're having a bad day, saying I'm having a bad day, it's really crap. My day is utter doo doo. That's fine. But just try your best not to, you know, interchange the words. That's all. You might do it sometimes because it's habit. Even I do it, not with sadness and depression, because, you know, I'm very careful and it's like ingrained in me to use the correct term. But with other things, I do it. We are human. But just to be mindful and just to be a bit more cautious, to use the correct terms with situations that you're going through. Anyway, guys, hope that made sense. As always, I hope that you got a little something from this video. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next week for another video. Take care. Bye.